Hi, Dipali. I think I can't hear you very clearly. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Is it
Yeah,
any
now I can. Yeah.
okay,
Now I can hear you.
yeah. So shall we start?
Yeah, good to go.
As it is rightly said, dance is the hidden language of the soul. Good evening everyone and welcome to another live session hosted by IM1418. 1418 is India's first exclusive platform for 14 to 18 years old. And if you're someone who want to pursue their career into a field such as dancing, then I assure you this live session is going to be for you. We are very pleased to have with us as our guest speaker, Ms. Himani Khurana. Ms. Himani has been trained in various dance styles such as jazz, contemporary, and ballet. Not only that, she's been also been a part of many reputed commercials of brands such as CNN, IBM, India Today, and many more. Not only that, she's been traveling all around the world from Egypt, Russia, Tokyo, China to do Bollywood theaters and movies. And for those of you who don't know, she's been a part of the famous movie Dhoom. That's a very famous Bollywood movie. So, ma'am, would you like to share about anything like how you started off and why you took dancing? And also, you started your own studio, Stance Dance Studio, in 2013. So, what led wherein you are teaching professionals and community dancers, both of them? So, what led you to start your own dancing company, and how was your journey?
Sure. Thank you, Dipali, for such a beautiful introduction. Um, yeah, getting back to my journey as a dancer, of course, something very important. Like a lot of people start dancing just as a hobby, and you join a dance class. So I think the journey is the same for most of us. Even I had started, by just joining a class, and that is where it all began. And then gradually I started to understand that it can be taken as a profession. It was at that time building into a stream which could be taken up professionally. And very interestingly, I found that as I kept, this could be also taken as an education.
Hmm.
So, and here in India, we don't have so many opportunities of studying dance, but of course, abroad, we have a lot of opportunities of studying dance. And what I mean by studying dance, I am specifically talking about Western styles of dancing. So, of course, we have a lot of exposure and opening towards Indian classical, because that is something that comes from our culture. So, but I always, I started as a jazz dancer. So, of course, gradually I learned that I could, make it into a full time education and a study. So, yeah, but I started like many of the others who just come to us and they want to dance, just do a dance class twice a week and have a good time. I joined to have a good time with my friends, and that is how it. Sorry.
Start. What was the age?
Oh,
Your age?
I started very late. I started when I was in college. So that is considered to be a very, very late age for dancing.
Never late to follow your passion.
Yeah. But of course, if someone is looking at doing it professionally, like I always, as even as a kid, I was very passionate about choreography. And of course, at that time, I had no idea that, it could be taken something like it could actually be a career for me. So I think when you're really passionate about something, somehow you find you just find your way through it. So yeah, so that is about the journey. And then I, of course, my learning gave me a chance to work with a lot of teachers from abroad. I worked with a lot of choreographers who were teaching a lot of different styles at that time, from overseas. And yeah, and I took a lot of time to make up my mind that, do I really want to do it professionally? And that is something I always advise my students as well, that you should take time to make your decision for that, because it is one of the harder career choices. And yeah, and then that's how then it just led to a lot of work that I could do with other people. And I could then I thought that to have my own studio, and it just everything just comes in organically. Yeah.
Actually explored yourself when you were in your college, right? Because that's
Yeah.
when you, so
Yeah.
we can learn from you that you can find your passion at any point in your life. It's not
Correct.
starting from the childhood, then only you become successful. Now look at you, you've worked so much, worked with CNN and very reputed brands. So it's never late. We can say that.
It's never late. I totally agree. Yeah, that's a fact.
But
But also for dancing,
start,
sorry,
obviously you get an upper hand if you start off early.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you are you associated with any kind of teenagers and any dance plans for them? Do you have?
Oh yeah, we have a lot of teenagers in our classes. We have a lot of teenagers who are a part of Stance Dance. There are people who are now dancing professionally with the Stance Dance company. But when they joined us, they were teenagers, or probably they worked. They have a interesting history that I was either choreographing a musical in their school, and they were in grade nines and tens, and they that exposure for them to work and see that dance could be a valid career choice. When they got a chance to be in college and be independent, they actually have taken this up as a professional thing, as as they have grown out of school and become independent. So many of them have that history with us. So, and even now we have a lot of kids and teenagers who started earlier, and now they are in their teens. So we have children and teenagers who joined us maybe 7 years back, and now they are in their teens. So of course it's very interesting to watch them grow and also see their learning curve through each year.
So, ma'am, what has been personally your best dance performance, and what do you think that yes, this was the most amazing moment in my life in my dancing career?
Oh, that's gonna be a tough one. I really don't think that there can be any one performance like that. They can't. I'm sure it can't be for any dancer like that, because for us, each performance, each show has a story to it. Like you've been through certain experiences, either with the choreographers or with your co-dancers or with your students. Every show has something very funny, something that just took you through the grind. So I don't think that I can ever say that, oh, that was my best performance, because I also feel that there is never the best. You might feel really nice when you're performing, but when you come off the stage, you're like, oh, okay, I did well, but maybe next time I want to do that extension even a little bit more. I missed the spot of the light a little bit. So, I think till the time you keep feeling like that, you keep pushing your boundaries. And that just keeps making you better by each performance. So I don't think I can say that there's any one special performance. Um, but yeah, every show has its own beautiful story to it.
I completely agree. There's a backstory to every event you watch and
Correct.
everything. I get it. So, ma'am, would you like to tell our audience difference between professional dancing and recreational dancing?
Yeah, sure. Like I said earlier, that a lot of us just join a dance class for very personal reasons. For some of us, it could be fitness. For some of us, it could be just having a good time if my friends are joining with me, or
Yeah.
I want to just get some moves for maybe my Instagram reels now, or for some wedding or something. So, yeah, of course, we all have very personal reasons. But and some students and some dancers I have seen very interestingly that even when they don't want to make it a professional choice, they have moved on with us from a beginner's level to a higher level to another. Almost they almost reach the level at which the professional dancers are training. Because they put in that many number of years, but they are very clear that that is not a professional choice that they want to make. That's not a career choice. So yeah, I mean, if that is one way of doing it, that I can keep learning as much as I want and I can be as good as a professional dancer in terms of my technique, in terms of my flexibility, in terms of my performance. But when you say that I want to take it as a professional choice, I want to be a professional dancer, then of course you have to be ready to live it completely as a profession. So which means that you're not only working as someone who just trains twice a week or 4 times a week. You're probably putting in 6 to 7 hours of dancing every day. It almost becomes like a school then, Dipali. Like you would have maybe a training class in the morning, you would have a break, you would have another training or another rehearsal. And most of the professional dancers, while they are training, they also train with us for teaching. And, then they also have, they learn how to teach, they learn how to pass on their skills to younger dancers. So then it almost becomes like a full day job for them. So that is the difference mainly.
Like a sports person's life, wherein
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
be particular about their diet and everything. Because something you're not doing for fun now, it's more serious. So you have to put all your mind and body into it. So, ma'am, is it like something that teenagers, if they are into professional dance, do their studies get affected as well, or is there a thing that they can manage both?
See, they can manage both. Of course, we've had students who come in with their, we usually do annual thing in December. So that's also the time when most of them are having their exams. So we've had situations where we have long hour rehearsals. And some of them, like I said, they've been dancing with us for very long. So they're not only dancing in one choreography, they're dancing in probably 5, 6 choreographies in the show, and they're a vital part of that performance. So when we have long rehearsals like that, then I have students who will carry their books with them, they'll have their meals with them, and it's very interesting because then you see all the senior didis and bhaiyas have become someone who will come and help them in their studies. And so yeah, they can manage. Some of them have learned really well to manage their studies with their dancing already. But if you're, and we also at Stance prefer that most of the teenagers are just into their training time. So we don't encourage them to be teaching at that time because we feel that's very young for them. So we try and keep their schedule in a way that they are only involved with us in terms of training. So they are not, they are not spending more hours than what is required of their age, and they can put that time into their studies. Because I am also a very, very strong believer that your education and your studies should be well done, should be well managed. And even as a performer, you have to learn to manage many things. So
Ma'am,
that is
agree, because what I feel is, if someone can manage their extracurriculars well, then I'm sure that he or she can manage his or her studies also. Because you kind of the art of time management, and since if you are into any sport or any extracurricular activity, you know how serious you have to be, both in your extracurriculars as well as in your sports. So I believe that everyone should like do any kind of physical activity, be it like how much stress they have of studies or anything, but then obviously you should be engaged in an extracurricular, be it dancing or be it any sport.
correct. Absolutely, absolutely. So that is something we also talk about it to our students because I discourage taking breaks from your dance training because that also hampers your progress, because dancers have a lot to do with the with the how supple their muscles are, how flexible they are. So if you keep taking a lot of breaks in between, like long breaks, then everything your teachers have been working with you in the studio, it sort of starts to go down. So that's something we really, really talk about with our students, that, try and manage and prioritize how you're going to manage your academics with whatever your passion is. So if dancing is your passion, learn to manage that. If suppose sports is your passion, then try and manage both the things. So yeah, I mean, that's something we really, really endorse at Stance.
So, ma'am, what do you think? What's the importance of mental health and mental stress in dance as a domain? How can mental health and your mental strength can really affect your performance?
Oh, it can majorly affect your performance. And with dancers, what we really like to believe is that when you're dancing, you're just completely sharing your entire self, your entire soul with the audience. So if you are someone who's coming in with a lot of baggage, it is it's very difficult for you to put on a performance which is just ethereal, or which is just surreal. So we definitely need the dancers to be in a very good frame of mind, especially when they are looking at a performance point of view. And even the sad part is, Dipali, when you walk, even if it's not a performance and you are just coming in for a practice, if you have a lot of mental stress, it could be your studies, it could be something that happened with you in school, it could be something that happened with you in your college. I have seen dancers in my career that when you come in with that baggage, there is a major chance of you getting injured in a rehearsal. So that is something we talk a lot to our dancers, because when you're an artist, you could be doing any form. You could be an Indian classical dancer, or you could be a Western dancer. I think any performing arts, for that matter. So your mental, your emotional, and your physical needs to be all come together. It needs to sync. So yes, and if we feel that if someone is coming with that mental stress, we definitely like to talk that out with our students, and we try and give them that space. Because if you're mentally not there, your body will physically not produce the results you're looking at. So yeah, it really majorly it affects your performance.
Kind of a safe space in your dancing studio wherein you can enjoy, you can have fun, you can learn and grow together. So
Yeah,
it's a
absolutely.
safe space wherein all professionals or community dancers can go there, enjoy themselves, and that too with their proper growth and everything.
Absolutely, Dipali, and that is something we've actually come up with a new program regarding that, which is called Dance Sense. And like the name suggests, this program is it's just developed. We started it last month, and it can take in only very limited number of dancers in it. So I think right now in the first season of it, we have around 12 dancers with us. This program is basically built around creating a space where the dancers can work one on one with their dance mentors, and it creates a space for them to talk that what is it that's hindering their dance growth. Because if you've been dancing for some time and you're still not crossing over an obstacle, it could be your flexibility, it could be your, I am very good with ballet but I can't do hip hop, I feel, or it's a stage fright, or I can dance in my room but I can't dance in front of so many people. So many issues that we have, which we just never talk about, and it's that space for dancers to just come out of their shell, and step by step we just try and break whatever walls are stopping them. So and it's been a very interesting, I personally evaluate dancers in this program, and we evaluate them after every 2 months. So it's a 6-month program, and we try and chart their journey through those 6 months, and we make sure that the mental aspect of it is helping them to produce better results in their physical aspect of dancing. So the mental health thing is a very, very important thing that we discuss about at Stance. Also, because dancers, they face a lot of competitive issue. Because when there's an audition and I am dancing and another person is dancing and I am not selected, it raises a lot of questions and insecurities in my head. And for that, what you just said, like Stance is a safe place for dancers, for that I can vouch. Because I besides me, everybody in the company, every team member, I've seen them, how they work with their juniors, how they take care of each one of them. And what I find most interesting is that they put them first, rather than themselves. So yes, that is something I can vouch for, and that helps the dancers to grow much faster.
Yeah, ma'am, that's totally amazing. So, would you like to give just share an instance wherein you had a disagreement with your teacher or trainer, and how can teenagers resolve that conflict with their trainer, and like when their egos clashes, and it always happens with teenagers when they are so young and so rebellion, wherein they don't like to be corrected. So, how do like trainers, and how did with it when trainers used to scold you, and how do you preach it to other children, and how do you manage that stance to
Actually, Dipali, I mean, as you're talking about it, and I'm trying to think, it's quite funny that, I really don't think we've ever had a situation where any of them who are in their teenage, I don't think we've had many disagreements with them. They are just so adorable, and probably, maybe the way, the dance instruction works. Uh, they just I don't think we've had an instance where they have had a point of conflict with their teachers. I've seen them having conflicts among themselves, like within each other, but they just all just they've I don't think I've had a situation where they're not listening to us. In fact, I've had situations where the parents call us and they tell us that, you speak to them because they don't listen to us, but they listen to you. So that is a very common thing I get from parents. And I think what we have been able to create, and I give the credit to all of the students who are a part of this. What we've been able to create is that they all just come together as a team, and they just listen to the teachers, and that is something that helps them to grow really well. But there is a very open space for them. We encourage them a lot to ask questions. So I think maybe that is the reason, Dipali, that we've not really had a situation where we feel that they are in conflict with what I am saying or another teacher is saying, because all the kids these days, all the teenagers, they're so smart. Sometimes they help us to maybe deal with technology or something new, or they'll tell me that you should download music from here. You don't know this, I will teach it to you. So I mean, they are so what should I say, they're so updated about things, and they learn really quick. So I think what finds a very beautiful balance is that we encourage them to ask us questions, and it becomes a two-way street. So when we are also teaching at Stance, it's not like I am the teacher and you have to listen to me. If they even for the technical issues, if they have a question, I tell them that if I don't have the answer, I'm going to try and look for it, and I'm going to get back to you with it. So I think that's why that mutual respect remains, because there is we deal with them as adults, and I think we sometimes come down to their level and they come up to our level. So I think that just works as a very beautiful balance.
Ma'am, even I want to join dance studio now. I just so wish to be there, and I just feel it's so amazing to be part of it and build a community for like-minded people. It's amazing work that you're doing.
You're most welcome, Dipali. You can join anytime. You can even join the online classes. We've had a lot of stuff going on online. We have a lot of fitness classes. But what we try and do is we try and keep things very different for kids, and we try and keep things very different for dancers who are more in their teens and they've been dancing, so their level of dancing is more complex. And now we've started with something which is only for people who are 30 plus, because we assume that maybe their pickup is slightly different from people who are in their teens and
But
their 20s.
in the dance plans for everyone. That's great.
Yes, and I think that makes everybody very comfortable, because if someone wants to move faster and we put them in a class which is slow, then it's not fun for them. They want to be more challenged. So yeah, we try and keep that balance of levels and levels of difficulty, and I think that keeps it interesting for everyone.
So, ma'am, this brings us to our last question of the session. That being, any advice for teenagers out there, or any member of the youth, of how they can kickstart their creative side, and how can they pursue a career into, be it dancing or any of the creative field, be it music or anything.
Yeah, sure. One thing I really try and talk to students, and I try and bring it up in every maybe in every conversation I'm having with where I'm asked to give an advice for people who are looking out for a creative career. The first and the most important thing I feel, Dipali, is that people need to look out for a good place to start learning. This is something where I feel many people falter, because if I suppose if I want to be a dancer and I just look at options. Okay, this is a dance studio which is right next to my house, or it's in my society, or it's just walking distance. If you're looking at something to build as a foundation and your foundation is not strong, that becomes a hindrance later on. Like I say very often, that the shortcut usually becomes the long cut. So you need to first look out for a good place, like a good teacher. It could be a studio, it could be an individual teacher for whichever art form you're going to learn. Because once you learn something, and if it wasn't meant to be, if it didn't teach you the right foundation, it takes more time for you to go back and deconstruct what you've learned and then build it up again. So I think that is my primary advice, that when people are looking out for a studio or a teacher or a trainer, they should really research. They should, look out for something which actually gives them a solid foundation. Once your foundation is good, it's very easy to just, put the topping on it. You can go anywhere and decorate it more. So that is my primary advice. And for people who are looking out for making a career in any creative field, because I have so many friends who are into photography, who are into videography, people who are makeup artists, I mean, different sort of creative fields. Um, I feel that you have to have that risk appetite, because it is not going to be something, because you're creative, so you can create anything anytime. So it's never going to be something that you can box and package and just present it, and it's not going to replicate like that. Every morning I can have a different movement that I can create. Sometimes people will take it, sometimes people will not take it, but you should be able to find your language through it. It has to be what you want to communicate. So if anybody who feels like that your creative passion is something that helps you to communicate yourself to the world, it helps you to connect what you're trying to say to other people, you should just go ahead. I mean, then you will find your way, you will find your training, you will find your motivation. But it has to be your language. Don't do it just because, don't just become a dancer because when you're in the spotlight, everybody stands and claps for you. Don't don't pick up a choice for a wrong reason. Because most of the creative choices are going to be very hard. Let's be very honest about it. They're going to be hard. You're going to be have to be self motivated, and we are in a like the pandemic has taught us that it can also bring your career choice on a hold for some time. Like right now for dancers, they've been dancing in their living rooms, which is just not their space. They're all frustrated. Maybe they're out of shape, so things can get hard. But when it is really your passion and it is the only way you connect to yourself and to people around you, then there's no looking back. You will be the most happy person doing it.
That was great, ma'am. It was so lovely talking to you about everything, and we are so pleased to have you on. Like we had a half an hour live session with you, and it was so insightful. And I'm sure that anyone who wants to pursue their career in creative field will definitely go for it now after watching this live session. So I guess
Absolutely my pleasure, Dipali. And I had such a lovely time speaking to you, and you asked me such relevant questions. Thank you for that.
I was getting so many hello ma'am, good evening ma'am from our viewers, and I was like, we have gained so much respect from and most of them are teenagers because we can figure out from their language that they are teenagers. They're writing, hi ma'am, how are you? Very nice. So that's
And I also saw that someone was actually, I had one of my students, like your question, like when they were teenagers. So I also had someone in the chat. Now they are all working, they're working in big corporates and things like that. But he wrote the name of the musical that I had choreographed for them when they were in school. So he wrote JCS, which is Jesus Christ Superstar. So I mean, it's so lovely for me to see that something that you have done as a performer, it just stays as the most memorable thing for most of the dancers. They find so many new friendships when they're doing something like this, and it's just an amazing experience. I mean, I would love to even do something for your members of 1418. I mean, when you do something together with music and dance, it just absolutely brings a different vibe, and a different sort of connectedness for everyone.
yeah, we used to remember like annual functions when we used to dance. We used to connect with so many different children of different sections, and it was like that bond while we were dancing was forever. I still remember
Yeah.
how functions and what how that friend did what step, and it's so amazing. Like I get
Yes, it is. It is.
it.
Absolutely.
Ma'am, it was a pleasure having you on board with us. If you have any queries or any questions, feel free to reach out at our Instagram handle, and we'll be releasing this live session soon.
Sure. Thank you so much, Dipali. Thank you to you and to your team for having me. I had a great time. Thank you.
So much, ma'am.